What's up, people? It's Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the DJ Kenny Parker Show. Spook Realm 4Q is first in the building today. What's good? Gregory Nettis is actually second. What's up? I'm glad you guys can make it. Those that's on the check-in. Haitian Space Program, what's good? Brand Yakubian, Peace, Green Lion Entertainment, JWoo72, all the regulars in the building. Kathleen Literary Crochet, hey, what's good? Haven't seen you in a minute. Imperial J, the MC, says, what's good, KP? I missed last week, but I caught the rewind. Shout out to all the people that's going to catch the rewind a little later on. This is interesting. Spook Realm says J-Roo called it back in 99. Y'all, 99% of these niggas ain't shish. Most of these niggas, yeah, well, that's a fact. That's the theme of this channel. Interesting question. J-Roo says, Peace King, did you do the cuts and scratches on the Kenny Parker show? I did some of them. KRS did some too. What's the name of that breakbeat during the intro? I don't remember. Someone else is asking about that too. I do believe when Exhibit did the Kenny Parker show 2000, I think it was called, or 2001, when they did it over, they was asking Chris what was the name of that breakbeat. And I can't remember, but I think it was on Ultimate Breaks and Beats, though. Shout out to Breakbeat Lou. I think it was on there, but I'm not sure. I did some of the scratches, and KRS did some of the scratches on that song. I have a whole, excuse me, I have a whole breakdown of the Kenny Parker Show song on this channel. Go back and check it out. I did it about a year ago, year and a half. We on show number 61. I do believe since we started doing the show every Tuesday, we have not missed a Tuesday in at least a year, y'all. So this is great. We got the streak going. I hope I can keep the streak going as long as possible. Inspired Savant Scripture. Peace. Live and direct question. Who rocks better, sounds better, rhymes better, Queen Latifah or Light as a Rock? You know, I always say I don't believe in the word better, and we was talking about that last week, and I really want to get into it this week. What is trash? I wanted to really talk about that, but who rhymes better is a matter of opinion, a matter of who you like. Earl Green says, peace. What's good, DJ KP? What's good? Says, hit the like button. He says, big up to Grand Poobah on his ceremony into the Hip Hop Museum. Yes, big up to my man, Grand Pooh. Big up to the whole brand Nubians. Big up Lord Jamal. Big up Sadat. Alamo, the whole crew. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I had an interesting conversation with Bumpy this morning. Stay tuned. Abel Valdez says, boom. Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show. It was, okay, do you remember Divine Styler? I feel like the only person that ever heard of him. I loved him back in the day. I remember the name Divine Styler, but I'm not familiar with the songs. Ed Olivier says, Kenny, what's up? Question. What was the deal? What was the deal Chris signed the job? Did he get to own the master after some time? Does he own the publishing? I wasn't privy to the contract that Chris signed, but no one got to own the masters. Maybe after time. I think that is a rule that after a certain amount of time, your masters come back to the artist. Does Chris own his publishing? At the time, he had a publishing deal with Jive. I don't know what the situation is now, but at the time with Jive, he had a publishing deal with them. I don't know about the master part. Stephen Brooks was good. Dan Marasuti was good. FU2. Peace. I see all the regulars in the building. Rod Justice. Stephen Brooks said, did you meet UGK? What was it like being label mates with them? I met Bum B like 2 years ago for the first time ever. At a Tony Touch party. I was DJing and he was performing. That was 2 years ago. So 2002, I met Bun B. When they were on Jive, we were all on Jive. I never met UGK, but they tell a story about meeting Chris when they first signed to Jive. So he met UGK, but I never met them. Rest in peace to Pimp C. VHS Hip Hop. Peace, KP, in the chat. In your opinion, what is the best first line in a song? Wow. That's so hard, man. There's a billion. I came in the door. I said it before. 2 years ago, a friend of mine, I'm thinking about rhymes in songs that changed the game. You know what I mean? Like something like that. There's so many though. Sweet Goldilocks, what's good? FE2 said the Mets are up 7-2 in the ninth. Yo, the Mets are killing it. I used to tease all my Mets fans because usually by June, their season is over. But they are really making some noise. New York baseball is real big right now. Don Dallas TV. Yo, peace, one love, and respect to Kenny. What's good? Ice cold beverage. What's good, Kenny? Been catching the last few shows on replay. That's good. I love the replay. Let's see. Daryl Peppergan says P is Still Free was my favorite track on Return to Boom Bap album. Funny thing, that was the first song that Premier and Chris did. And if you look back, that was a Boogie Down production song. When they did that song, I believe that song was for Menace to Society soundtrack. If you go back and look at the Menace to Society soundtrack, that song was the first song that Premier did for Boogie Down Productions. At that point, it was still BDP. So, there's a lot of misconception about, KRS. They changed the name of Boogie Down Productions to KRS-One and they brought DJ Premier in for the new sound. That's not exactly true. When DJ Premier was hired, it was still Boogie Down Productions. Actually, 2 of the songs on Return to Boom Bap was Boogie Down Productions. Black Cop was a Boogie Down Productions song on CB4, and the P is Still Free. A lot that went on behind the scenes with that, y'all. FU2 says Young MC interview on Vlad was actually pretty good. I didn't watch it, but we've talked about Young MC on this channel. I always showed love and respect to Young MC. He was on tour with BDP back in 1990. He was mad cool. Shout out to him. Terrell McMillan, once again, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. LML, laugh out loud. Yo, K, did you hear the song Kamala Ain't Black? No, I did not hear that song called Kamala Ain't Black. People be bugging. No, I did not hear that. I think people are focused on the wrong thing in this election. Let me scroll down a bit. Oh shit! Damon Clark says Lord Jamal bugging out these days with this flat Earth shit, talking about there's no such thing as gravity. I didn't know that. I mean, I try to just move past stuff like that, y'all. I mean, I would love to hear what the lie before I down somebody's opinion. I would love to hear the logic. How the Earth is flat and there's no gravity. I would love to hear how he came to that conclusion, if that's true. Greatest line, 7 MCs put him in a line. History. Yeah, that was an opening line though. This is interesting. Imperial J says, KP, who would you say is an underrated hip hop artist? I say Heavy D doesn't get recognized like he deserves. Should be in the top 10 all time. I don't know if he should be, in my opinion, I don't know if he should be in the top 10 all time, but I do think he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He made hits. He had a long career. He had hits from 1986, 87, 86, 87, when Mr. Big Stuff came out, all the way up until like in the mid 90s. He was still going gold. So he had some platinum albums. I think that he made some pop music in there. And you know how hip hop, once you make some pop records, he made some New Jack Swing songs in there. And you know, once you make some New Jack Swing or something like that, or something that's poppy, hip hop just crosses you right off. But yeah, I think Heavy D does not get mentioned as much as he should. I was just listening to a Heavy D record yesterday. Heavy D, Super Cat, and Frankie Paul. Big and Ready, Big and Ready. I was just listening to that yesterday. He was always mad cool with me. I met him at the self-destruction recording. He was with Trouble T. Roy. So yeah, I would say that other underrated. I always say LL Cool J is the most underrated rapper of all time because he should be right at the top of everybody's consideration for greatest rapper of all time. I'm not saying he's number one, but he does not get mentioned enough. Like the rappers that I see get mentioned over LL Cool J in people's lists, to me, is insanity. For the most part, I think most rappers are ranked right where they probably should be, depending on who's poll. I don't really like these year-end those top 50 greatest lists that came out last year was so embarrassing. They're literally an embarrassment to rap. There's a lot of overrated rappers, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Henry Cedillo, I was listening to the song The Message, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, and the lyrics are valid today still. Sadly, those lyrics are still valid. Those lyrics should be dated. We should listen to a record from 40 years ago and go, wow, remember that's how they were living 40 years ago. Ooh, I'm glad things are different now. But sadly, you can listen to The Message and be in New York and it's the same thing. That's a very controversial record too, by the way. Ghostwriters galore. Henry Cedillo, Kenny, were you on the set of a video of self-destruction? I think you talked about it before. I did, and no, I was not there. Ice Cold Beverage, Kenny, what is your top 3 Juice Crew songs? Ooh, that's a good one. The Symphony. Something by Biz. Probably, I'm not going to say Just a Friend, even though that was his biggest record. My favorite, he said my top 3. I think Nobody Beats the Biz would be in my top. Ain't No Half Steppin' Kane. Those might be my top 3. I really like Rose to the Riches, Coogee Rap, but I might go Symphony, Nobody Beats the Biz, Ain't No Half Steppin', Kane is probably my 3 favorite Juice Crew records. Shout out to the Juice Crew. It's a lot of people dissing Lord Jamal on here. Brandon Kubian says, do you have a vault with unreleased BDP tracks? Have you heard songs that you thought were fire that never came out? The answer to that question is unreleased BDP vault. No, I don't have a vault. I have like a few songs. I don't have a vault, and I have like practice demo versions of stuff that became songs. Have I heard songs I thought were fire that never came out? Yeah. I've heard rhymes that I thought were fire that Chris used in freestyles live and stuff that he never put on record. Songs, probably I heard a couple, but then again, like I might have heard them and they might have got remixed, so he might have took a verse from this and put it on something else. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that never came out. Chris probably has all of those DATs. I need a good DAT machine. I had 2 DAT machines that the DAT player, the DAT tape got twisted up in the machine and destroyed the machine. I'm scared to even put a DAT tape in a DAT machine right now. But I got a lot of good stuff on DAT that I need to get off. And I'm scared to put it in a DAT machine because it's going to destroy it. I see RIP Heavy D. Kathleen says RIP Sissy Houston. Yes, respect to Sissy Houston, Grammy Award winner and mother of Whitney Houston. I believe she was in the 90s. Boy, I'd love to get 90-something years off on this earth. Rest in peace to her. Did y'all ever see the conspiracy that Whitney was not her daughter or something? There's so many conspiracy theories going around. But I'll tell you one thing. Based on the information that's coming out these days, a lot of the stuff that was laughed off as conspiracy theories are starting to become true. They're starting to see some kind of confirmation to a lot of things that people have been saying over the years that was a conspiracy theory. I think it's all going to come out. The whole house of cards is about to come down. Divine Resistance Peace, Kenny's one of the topics this week defining what a trash hip hop song, album, or artist is. Yes, I want to get into that if you guys want to get into it, because I have a completely different definition. First of all, I don't believe that any art is trash. It's just a matter of, is it my opinion? Do I like it or not? Is it what I'm looking for or not? And it's hard to define trash because do you define it as not sounding good? That's just your opinion. Do you define it as it didn't sell? There are many reasons why songs don't sell. There's great songs that don't sell, and there's mediocre songs that catch a wave and sell. Um, is the lyrics not tricky enough for certain people, or not advanced enough for some people? That's a matter of opinion. I can name you some extremely simple rap songs with simple rhymes that was so impactful that'll stand the test of time. So that doesn't even count. There's no real definition for trash. Well, that's why people say this is trash. So and so's whack. My opinion is it's whack to you, or it's trash to you. There's records that sold 1 million copies that I think is whack. There's records that people barely know, obscure songs that I think are amazing. I can't believe the world doesn't know this. There's records that I thought was whack that I later on ended up loving. And there's records that I loved when I first heard it, but then when I go back and listen to it years later, I was like, you know what, I was bugging. This is not really it. So who's to say what's trash? I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys think, but who is to say what is trash? Music is too subjective. And I say that on this channel all the time. Music is too subjective, and there's too much other stuff going on behind the scenes. Like if somebody writes your rhymes and you got a ghostwriter, that's trash. No matter how it turns out, if you're a rapper and somebody else wrote your rhyme, how is that? To me, there should be an asterisk next to your rap, next to your song. In the title, it should be so-and-so, title, asterisk. And when you look at what this asterisk means, it means ghost written by somebody else. You should know that when you're listening to songs. All of that to me is in the mix. I don't believe in trash. I'm going to see what you guys say. This is a good example. Inspired Savant. He said 3 Juice Crew songs: Symphony, Picking Boogers, I'll Take You There. Now imagine 2 of these 3 songs, I had a completely different opinion than him. And this is his opinion. I had a completely different opinion than him. And that's the thing with music. $49 Neil, what's good? It says, yo, Kenny, what MCs, rappers have the nicest hands as far as fighting? I'm not sure. I'm going to ask Bumpy Knuckles that when I get a chance. I think he would have a better, his name is Bumpy. He might have a better opinion. LL's Pain could be in question, as 50 Cent said he wrote Paradise. Just saying, I think 50 wrote some of it or had the hook. Something like that. I don't know if he wrote the rhymes. I'm not sure about that. But LL wrote a lot of records. LL wrote a lot of records, man. Joey Joe says, me and the Biz and BDK Raw. Once again, completely different opinion than mine. All these are valid opinions. I see a lot of people saying the Symphony #1. Lisa Flo says, Kenny, were you aware of the rumor that there was a transgender playing the lead girl in several Biggie videos? It's not a rumor. And that was out a little while after the videos came out. Hype Williams was the director, and he put this young, how do I say it? The transgender woman in a few videos. I'm not sure if the artist was even aware that this transgender woman was a transgender, but yeah, in 1995, this happened. Yeah. There's so much going. Like I try to tell y'all, behind the scenes, there's so much going on that people don't even know. And I'm glad the curtain is getting pulled back, because some of the stuff that we see in the news is kind of what I've been talking about on this channel. Not exactly that, but exactly there's things behind the scenes that's going on, and what the people that you think are from the videos and their image, you think one way about a person, but a lot of these people are completely different than how you see them in the videos. Completely different. This is interesting. I think I'm gonna give my opinion on this. Baby boomers, what's up? What is your opinion of KRS-One interview with Tim Westwood back in 1997? I only heard a piece of that. Shout out to Tim Westwood, though. I met him one time at Hot 97 in New York. Funkmaster Flex introduced me to him in 94. Here's how the story goes, how I remember it. BDP have come to the UK a few times over the years. I think Chris and them first went over there, D Nice, Miss Melly, and all them in 89. Then I went there in 90. We went there a couple times. Went back in 91, 92. When Sex and Violence dropped, and I did a whole Sex and Violence breakdown on this channel. If you guys have not seen it, please go check it out. Did it about a year ago. I break down everything that I remember from that album. The stuff that I worked on. And so when the Sex and Violence album dropped, the sales was subpar. And between the Sex and Violence, between the sales and the whole PM Dawn incident, there was a lot of negative controversy, a lot of negative press around BDP at the time. And Tim Westwood apparently came on the radio in the UK and said that KRS-One and BDP was over. It's done. The end. This was in 92. So Chris got wind of this, and he didn't say anything. And he waited 5 years to 1997 when the album I Got Next dropped, and KRS dropped his biggest record of his career called Step Into a World, which is the biggest record of KRS-One's career worldwide. And it was huge in the UK. And we went out there. And of course, Tim Westwood brought Chris up to the station and was like, Chris, what's good? And, gave him the great greeting. And Chris was waiting 5 years. He squatted on Westwood. This is how I remember the story. Now, Chris could come and say something completely different. So I'm telling you guys how I remember it. And when he got on the air with Tim Westwood, he dismantled him. He dismantled Tim Westwood live on the air. And I only heard some of it, and I think Chris made a lot of valid points in his argument. But I believe the animosity was bubbling from 5 years earlier when Tim Westwood said that KRS-One was over and was dissing. He didn't just say it like, wow. So he was like, it's over, like good riddance tone is how I remember it. So yeah, that's my opinion on that interview, 1997. Chris went in on him, and I believe it stems from 5 years earlier. But I met Tim Westwood once, and he was cool with me. Of course, I'm rolling with BDP though. Let's see. I see some people giving Pharaoh Munch a lot of love on here. I don't know if he's underrated. Because part of this business is this, the music business is hit generated. And as great as a MC as Pharoah Monch is, and I believe he is, lyricist, he doesn't have a lot of hits. And so I think that is the reason why he's not held to higher regard. As a talent, he is an elite talent. But as you know, as a person who has made big records, he has a couple. But you know, there's other people with way less talent than Pharoah Monch who has managed to make bigger records and they get mentioned more. That's just my opinion. Shout out to Pharoah Monch. Shout out to the whole Organized Confusion. I had a nice conversation with Pharoah Monch one time outside in the street. We were talking about how he got sued for his biggest hit. What's the name of this song? Get the F up. Simon Says. The Godzilla sample in that song. The movie company in Japan that owned the Godzilla movie, where that sample came from. That movie came out in like 1959 or something. The people who owned the rights came back on Pharoah Monch after the record blew and took practically all his money. The way Pharoah Monch explained it to me, they took so much money that he even owed his next album that he didn't even record yet. He wasn't going to get paid. That's how much money they took and he owed. So that sample clearance game is crazy. Shout out to Pharoah Monch. Alexander Divine, thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution to the channel. He says, thank you for writing your book, Kenny. Get it, y'all. Thank you so much for purchasing the book. I really appreciate it. If you don't, I talk about this book so much on this channel, but if you don't got the book, get the book. If you're a BDP fan, you must read the real story. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much, Alexander Divine, for your contribution to the channel and for picking up the book. I really appreciate that. Henry Sedilla, what do you think of PM Dawn's music? His music wasn't my style, although he had a record that I really liked on the Boomerang soundtrack. I think it's Die Without You. Die Without You, that ballad that he made on the Boomerang soundtrack, that was dope. And that was a top 10 Billboard hit, top 10 pop hit. I like that song. Other than that, I heard his music. It wasn't really my style of what I was rocking at the time. Rest in peace to Prince B. Let me scroll down and see what you guys are talking about. Matt Sweezy says, corporate hip-hop is trash when it's not art, simply a product. What does that mean, man? What does corporate hip-hop mean? Is it means it's on the radio? Does it mean it has a certain formula? What does that mean? Every record you hear that comes out is a product. Everything is a product. If you put it on an album and you put it out for sale to the public, it's a product. So to say corporate hip hop, what's corporate to you might be gangster to somebody else. Papa Sincere, writing, lyrics, beats, production, topics, flow, that's all opinions. This is dating back from last week. It says all these comments are fair, but YBT, meaning young black teenagers, were trash. No debate. I'm going to debate that. I'm debating the word trash. This is a very controversial opinion, hype style. I don't mind ghostwriters. It's all flavor, depending on what you are feeling in terms of the vibe of the songs. I think it's way past time for hip hop to become more accepting of it. I don't know about that. I mean, first of all, ghostwriting has been going on since day one. So that's an unwritten rule that's never been followed. And many of the records that we all love and cherished and hold up high were written some or in part or mostly by someone else. But for me to really love an artist, and rap is different than any other genre, I have to feel that what you are saying is your original thoughts. And part of what makes a rapper nice is your pen. And when I hear a song and I'm loving the flow and I'm loving the lyrics and the content, I need to believe that this person's pen was part of the story and this is what he's thinking, not what someone else thought and someone else's pen. They told him to say it. That's just my opinion. And then we have like top all time, top greatest all time. To me, when you say all time, we're talking about 1979, Rapper's Delight, to now. All time records. You have to have written, man. For me to put you in my top, you have to have written, man. Someone else can. You have no idea how easy it is for someone to write you a song and you say it. You know how dope I would be right now if Nas wrote me some records? If Nas gave me some lyrics to spit, I would be incredible. I've never rapped a day in my life. I could go in the studio and it would take me a week to do one song. But so what? When y'all hear it, it'll sound like I'm incredible. And because of I know about studio trickery, I can't accept it. But some people, it doesn't matter to some people. And this is one of my main things. So Kenny, I can imagine how you felt when you heard Eazy-E wasn't writing his own raps. Rest in peace to Eazy-E, and no disrespect to him at all, but he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the highest honor that anyone can get as a musician. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's only like 10 rap groups in there. NWA's in it. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a rapper, and he never wrote a rhyme in his life. I don't know how to feel about that. I see people talking about fighting. Maceo from De La Soul can fight. So I heard. And I heard Dave, rest in peace. I heard they used to get down. I've never seen it. And, you know, those are my brothers, so I don't think I would ever be on the receiving end of it. But I've heard that. Actually, I've had some correspondence with Maceo a couple months ago. Stay tuned. Keith Murray was known to fight. A lot of guys were known to fight, but the question was who was nice. Just because you're known to fight doesn't mean you're nice, right? I'm not saying Keith Murray isn't nice. Keith Murray got in so much trouble that Jive had to let him go. And he was making money for Jive, and he was so much trouble they couldn't keep him on the label. Shout out to Murray. I saw Murray a couple years ago. I saw Murray the same day I saw Bun B. The same day I met Bun B, Keith Murray was there at this Tony Touch party. Hadn't seen him in years. His interviews are wild. Have y'all seen Keith Murray lately talk? That dude is wild. Shout out to Murray, though. That's my dude. Terrence Hill, one key of life is to respect others' opinions. Absolutely. Even if, even if opinion I don't agree, or even if it sounds absurd to me, some things like an opinion like there's no such thing as gravity. That's a tough opinion when it can be measured. You can measure these things. So that's a more measurable thing. But music, you cannot measure it. There's no sports like a championship. Each year somebody is crowned a champion because you won in a 7-game series like the Mets or somebody. Music isn't like that. Even people that win Grammy of the Year, Song of the Year, even that is highly controversial. There's so much behind the scenes that goes into getting nominated for a Grammy. It's so much politics and payola and bullshit. You can't even trust these award shows. But like I said, there's no way to measure. There's no champion. You can't have a musical champion. Even Thriller, Michael Jackson that year, it was more than a year, but the year that he won like 10 Grammys or something, you could say that year Thriller was the champion. That was a championship. Possibly. Then there's people that probably said Michael Jackson. There's probably people that said Michael Jackson wasn't even dope. Matter of fact, I'll give an example. Remember back a few years ago when YouTube used to have likes and dislikes, and you can see how many likes and how many dislikes as well? They took that off. I was curious just to see how trolls would react to things. So I clicked on some of the biggest songs ever. I clicked on like Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. At that time, it had like 10 million likes and like 1,000 or 2,000 dislikes, straight thumbs down. Like 2,000 people came on here. Either they never heard Billie Jean in their life, and this is the first time they heard it and they thought it was terrible and clicked thumbs down, or they just wanted to hate on Michael Jackson and click thumbs down. Either which way, there's thousands of people that think Billie Jean is whack. I went and looked up the Beatles, Let It Be. These are strong songs that's considered staples in American music. And once again, it was the same ratio, millions of people with thumbs up and a few thousand people with thumbs down on the Beatles. Then I went to Bob Marley, Three Little Birds. Everything's gonna be all right. How could you not like that song? Once again, millions of likes, few thousand downs. And I say that to say, but you got to respect these people's opinions. If you heard, don't worry about a thing, everything's going to be all right, and you thought that was whack, that's your opinion. And that's why I say to them, that record is trash. It's so trash that they actually click thumbs down on YouTube. April 7th artwork. KP, I'm late. Did you go over the trash list or did you skip it? No, we haven't gone. Is that we haven't made an actual trash list. Of course, like I said, I don't believe anything is trash, but I want to see what you guys think. Matter of fact, let me scroll down all the way down a little bit so I can see. Benny Doyle, what's up? Oh, wow. I see some people going in on Tim Westwood. Yeah, I see some people dissing Tim Westwood. I talked about Tim Westwood and KRS, the whole, what I believe was the root of the controversy. Rasta Gideon said, Ed Lover said on Drink Champs, I saw this, that Run would not respond to KRS dissing them because KRS was playing clubs and they were playing arenas, and also he was way too nice. I think that was, I've heard Run say that. I heard Run and Chris had a conversation about Chris taking shots at Run DMC early in his career, and Chris loves Run DMC. KRS-One is the one who put me up on Run DMC. Please get the book. When we were kids. Yeah, if Run DMC had responded to Boogie Down Productions, that would have put Boogie Down Productions way up from where they were in 87. Run DMC's were the kings in 87. They just came off of Raising Hell, and these young dudes come along next year talking ish. I think Run was right not to respond. And also, Chris would have came with it in 87 too. So I think that is a correct assessment. And I love, how much I speak about Run DMC on this channel and how high I hold them to the highest esteem. But yeah. Abel Valdez says, Kenny, why you always look to your right every few seconds? Because my phone is here and the light was going off. And when the light goes off, means somebody just called me and it catches my attention like that. So when you see me look to the right, that means somebody has I see my phone light up. It's on mute, but it still like catches my eye. Maybe I should move it from there when we do the lives. Maybe I'm gonna do that. Rod Justice says, Pharoah Monch is a dope MC. However, he does not make great songs, and I did not think much about his live show either. Woo. Yeah. That's an opinion. Yeah. Let's see. I scrolled down because I wanted to see if you guys were talking about trash, but I see most people are not going into it. So I'm going to leave it where it stands, but this is interesting. Arrested Development over PM Dawn. Wax Prophetic, what's up? I would agree with that for how I listen to music. We had a funny story about Arrested Development. We did a show in Atlanta years ago, and the girl who does the ad-libs in Arrested Development, I was walking down the street watching my own, that girl, Trouble Zone. She came in our dressing room and she saw me and she was like, wow, you're so big. That's the first thing she said to me. I was like, damn, well, hello to you, miss. And, at that time, Everyday People was a big record, one of my favorites. Dope sample, too, that they dug up from Bob James. And I just remember that. I just remember meeting her, and the first thing she said was, wow, you're so big to me. I was like, okay. Shout out to her. I don't even remember her name, but she was in our dressing room. But yeah, I never met Speech. And I never met Dion Farris, who I loved her music. I never met Dion Farris either. So I just met the one girl. But I would have Arrested Development over PM Dawn. They have a similar style. And remixing that song Everyday People and adding it to their album changed the whole trajectory of their album too, by the way. Pigs Parade says, Pixel Parade, I can't see it, app says, meanwhile, young black teenagers were in a KRS-One video. They were? Oh, shout out to them. Like I said, I met, first of all, Scribbles is the homie. So shout out DJ Scribbles. That's the homie. I forgot the name of the MC with the locks. I used to see him out and about. He was cool. I'm not gonna diss YBT, man. Nandy Johnson said, then the true writers should be touted. I agree. The trick is you don't know who's the true writers and who isn't. There's no way to know who really wrote what because it's so blurred. And then some people wrote most of their stuff, but somebody might have wrote a song here and there. So, you know, the line is blurred. We've had this conversation a few months ago about ghostwriting, but and ghost producing, which I think is worse than ghostwriting, which is more rampant. But yeah, that's why when you ask me about the greatest of the greats, I put the dudes with the pens right up at the top. Rasta Gideon says ghostwriting. I don't do, but that's just me. I don't care if anyone else does it. Ad rock. That's his opinion. Charles 13X says, I think Young MC is trash. Sorry. I don't think he's trash. He wrote 2 of the biggest rap records ever. That's really hard to do, man. He rapped on one, and Tone Loc. That record, Wild Thing, at that time was the biggest selling song of all time. That song, Wild Thing, by Tone Loc, I think it passed We Are the World to become the biggest selling song of all time. Since then, it's been broken. I think Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You from the Bodyguard soundtrack, I think it passed that or something like that. But you could write in 1 year the biggest selling song of all time, and then on your own write like a double platinum album. Yo, I got to give respect to that, even if it's, you know, it's not hard. He wasn't rhyming hardcore, but I respect it, man. I know how hard it is to make a hit record, man. It is very difficult. Rasta Gideon says one of the dudes in DOS Effects was trash. What? DOS Effects was crazy, though. This is exactly, you have made my point exactly. I love DOS Effects. You think one of them is trash, and I respect your opinion. Charles 13X said, hell no, both Scoob and Crazy J. That's my opinion, man. I mean, so De La Soul talks about fighting in one of their songs. I think that's one of the themes of De La Soul is Dead. They talk about it through the whole album, right? Yo, KP, what's good, King? You know the Source Magazine gave Sex and Violence album a low MC grade. I think it was 3.5 mics. I believe that paid tribute to Why the Sales Dropped as well. No, I think they gave it 4.5 mics. They gave Sex and Violence like a 4.5. Go back and look at Sex and Violence. I believe at the time, you know, sometimes people go back and re-rank things or whatever. At that time, it got really high reviews in the Source. And even 3.5 mics is a good review. That might have affected. I just think, go check out my Sex and Violence breakdown. I give my opinions on why that album, I think, didn't sell as much as the previous albums. Although Sex and Violence sold the same amount of records as Return of the Boom Bap. So go figure. And everybody loves that album, including myself. Ice Cold Beverage. Kenny, I used to think you were the tough guy or enforcer of BDP. Keep that. Still think that. You always looked mad serious, and you stomped that dude out in a duck down video. You know, funny story about that. I think I might have told this. That video, those guys that we were stomping out were actually the legendary Hughes brothers, who were the directors of the video. One of the brothers was in that, and I remember we had to do like 3 takes of it. And I remember like maybe the second take, Willie D from BDP, rest in peace to my dog Will, started really like roughing up one of the Hughes brothers. Like he threw him on the ground. He grabbed him by one leg and was dragging him down the street. When they yelled cut, 2 jumped up and was mad as hell. I can't remember which Hughes brothers it was. And then they was like, we got to do another take. Yo, it was bad funny. And these dudes went on to do Medicine Society, Tupac's videos, all kind. They had great success in their careers, but at this point, they were very new in the game. And the Hughes brothers did. We shot Duck Down and 13 and Good the same weekend. So we shot like, it was like one continuous thing. And yeah, that was for me. Roughing up some dude in the video was part of the video script. But yeah, that's something I just remembered when you brought that up. Shout out to the Hughes brothers, man. Def Rocker says Keith Murray sounds like he's drunk in interviews. He sound, well, I mean, I don't know. Kenny, what you just said, Rosmel said, what you just said about ghostwriting is a reason why some people take their props away from MJ. A lot of people don't know that MJ wrote his biggest hits himself. No, he wrote a few. He didn't write a lot of it. He wrote Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. He wrote a couple, but look up Rod Temperton when you get a chance. One of the greatest songwriters that ever lived, that Quincy brought in to help write with Mike. R&B is different to me. Like R&B, I don't think people hold something against Mike, to me, for not writing, because R&B is different. Hip hop is different. Whitney Houston never wrote a song in her life. And you had geniuses like Stevie and Prince who played the instruments, just ridiculous. Geniuses. So you compare people to Stevie and Prince, yeah, but Michael Jackson was a genius in his own right as an entertainer. But he wrote a couple records. He would write here and there, but you look at his 2 biggest albums, Off the Wall, Thriller. Rod Temperton was huge on there, man. But I look at R&B differently. Don Dallas TV said, I once seen Busta Rhymes get punched in the face and the dude ran the VIP at the old Palladium. Wow. Busta took off after him, but I don't know what happened next. Boy. How you going to steal on somebody and run? Latrice, is this like the time someone said KRS got slapped by Orange Juice Jones? I have never, ever heard that. Orange Juice Jones came out, he was big in like what, 87 with The Rain. That been around the time of Criminal Minded album. Considering the dudes that was rolling with Chris when Criminal Minded album was out, I believe that I would have heard about that story. As a matter of fact, I believe everybody would have heard about that story if Orange Juice Jones slapped KRS when Criminal Minded was out. First of all, at any point in the BDP history, that would have been a story. But I'm being honest with you guys, I never heard that. And it didn't happen on my watch. I definitely would have heard about that. what reason would he have had to slap KRS? Y'all remember The Rain? The Rain was big, though. That record was, shout out to Orange Juice Jones. KB Places, I think Bad is better than Thriller. I think Thriller is better than Bad. But that's your opinion. And that's why I always say there's no such thing as whack and dope and trash. Charles, KP, I want you to hear you say Vanilla Ice Ninja Rap was trash. I think I watched it. I don't even know if I got through that whole video. He did do a record with, yo. You tried it, Charles 13X. You tried it. But I'm not going to say that was trash. I'm going to say that was not up to the par of the rap standards that I was used to. I forgot all about that. Wow. Ninja rap. You really tried it, Charles 13X. That is really digging to the depths. You're digging in the depths of rap nostalgia to pull that one out. April 7th artwork. Kenny, are one-hit wonder hip-hop artists trash? No. I don't even believe in the term one-hit wonder. I think people say one-hit wonder in a negative connotation, like that's all you had was one hit. People who talk like that do not understand how hard and difficult it is to make a record that sells. They say, I saw a stat, 80% of all the albums and records that come out never sell more than 250 copies. 80%. If you make a record that sells 1,000 copies, which is nothing, you're in the top 20 percentile of all the artists who've ever lived. If your album sells 1,000 copies. We get jaded by seeing these artists who do it year after year. That's not the norm. And if you could get one hot song out of your whole catalog, I think you should be applauded. So when people say one-hit wonder, you should say it with authority, like dude was a one hit, that's amazing. Not like all he had was one hit. There's people that took one record and rocked for 30 and 40 years with that one song, changed their lives, put their kids through college, made millions for the record company, publishing amazing off of one song that broke through. With that being said, Gerardo Rico Suave. I actually like that song. Y'all try me on here. MC Brains, Uchi Coochie, la la la. That was not my style. And you keep me, all these records that you're talking about sold 1 million copies. Afro Man, Because I Got High. I think that's a gold single. You're talking about gold and platinum singles, which is even harder than a gold album, platinum album. Ice Ice Baby, I didn't hate that song. I didn't love it. I understood what he was trying to do. I wouldn't listen to it, but I understood where he was going with it. I could see why it was big. I like the original record by Queen and David Bowie, Under Pressure. That's a great record. Great song. Afro Man wasn't really my thing. I would say out of these songs you just presented, I would say Uchi Coochie is my least favorite of these songs that you put on here. I've never listened to that song in its entirety. I actually like Rico Suave because I thought him in that video, I thought him posing that video was some of the funniest I ever seen. The video with the song makes me laugh. Let's see. Eric Best, in my personal opinion, Soulja Boy is definitely whack. I don't think Soulja Boy is whack. I could probably name 10 MCs that I think is whacker than I think is less talented than Soulja Boy. I just heard a new Future record that they're saying is the hottest record in the club. Just came out. And the hook, he's literally incoherent on that song. And it's the hottest song. I was listening to, I really thought like something happened to him in the studio. I don't think Soulja Boy is the worst. I mean, to say he's whack, I mean, it's who you're comparing him to. He might be less talented than Rakim, in my opinion, but most people are. That's just an opinion. Henry Cedillo said, Kenny from the West Coast, you were always in the background of the group. Never heard you speak too much back in the day. True. You are down to earth and I enjoy your podcast, family. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We just on here talking. We just having conversation. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have no format. We just be talking. And I say this every week, but I have guests coming up. We just have to get the scheduling down. I've talked to quite a few people who have agreed to come on the channel. It's just about getting scheduling. But until that happens, it's just us, y'all, and we just talking about whatever. And we usually go about an hour on this channel, but these past few months, we've been going an hour and a half just talking. Reggie Johnson said, when I saw Pharoah Monch live, he was dope. See? Somebody else said he was whack. I don't even know what to say, man. This Hype Style gave a good opinion. As far as what's trash and what is not hip hop, I think that depends heavily on individual and also depending on where you grew up. Yes, geographically, that influences a lot of what you like. Absolutely. All that's in the mix. Where you grew up, how old you are, everything. Where you heard this music. You can hear a song in your car that you don't like, but if you heard it in a strip club with a bunch of stuff going on around you, that might be the song that sticks in your mind forever. Really, everything is so much that goes into it. Jeff Worrell said, I guess you covered it, Kenny. One man's gold is another man's trash. That's one of my favorite quotes ever. One man's trash is another man's treasure. It's one of my top 2 or 3 favorite quotes ever. Thank you, Jeff Worrell. Jeff Worrell. I'm killing your name, sorry. Yeah, that's my argument. So when people say stuff is trash, although some people have given some really interesting songs on this list that is really stretching the definition. Soldier Ciroc says some people just got bad taste. Bob Nestor Marley could never be trash. Exactly. How could you put a thumbs down on Bob Marley? How? To me. P.S. Thousands of people did it. I wish you could see. I wish you went right now to Bob Marley. I think Three Little Birds is probably his biggest hit. Or that's probably not his biggest hit. Jammin' is probably his biggest hit. I don't know if that's his best record, but that's his biggest hit on the radio. Whatever Bob Marley, I bet you if you went on there and you look, you could see the dislikes. I guarantee you. If you went in the comments section, I guarantee you pick a song that you think is among the greatest music ever made. You go in the comments section and watch somebody be on there dissing. Howard Chisholm says, what do you think about Kendrick at the Super Bowl halftime show? I think what a run Kendrick Lamar is having off of this song. What a run. He's up for Grammys. He's up for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. And 3 rap performances. He's up for 5 Grammys, including the top 2 awards. What a run. He could win the Grammy for the best record of the year, Super Bowl. Wow. Good for him, man. Joey Joe, Arrested Development was corny. Oh my God. I liked Mr. Wendell. I liked Tennessee. That first album, I was all over that. Geechee says, didn't De La get in an altercation with Rob Bass backstage early in their career? I don't know. I never heard that. Shout out to Rob Bass. Rest in peace to DJ Easy Rock. Now look at this. Def Rocker says, my posse on Broadway is whack. I love my posses on Broadway. What, are you kidding me? That style that Sir Mix-a-Lot came with, this is an 80, when he made that, 88? Riding in my car, riding down the street, around that style was dope in 88. Come on, Def Rocker. I personally love my posses on Broadway. I see a lot of love for DOS effects on here. Absolutely. Geechee says, posse on Broadway sounds like they were trying to be Beastie Boys' Paul Revere. I can hear that. I can hear that. I could see that. I thought he pulled it off, though. Gregory Netter said, that guy who just said DOS effects is trash is on drugs should be in the trash bag. Rasa Gideon says, I don't like Onyx either. Wow. You didn't like Last Days? Come on. Let me scroll. Let me do my Benny Doyle scroll down. Muck, what up? He said, Rick James, another genius singer-songwriter. Yes, Rick James was incredible. Imagine if Rick James, they had social media now. And as big as he was at that time, if all the stuff that he was doing in the 80s came out now, he would be just like Diddy. My opinion. Rasta Giddens, I've seen Cypress Hill fight a whole club in Tijuana. Shout out to Cypress Hill. I would love to get them on the show, man. Those my dudes. Shout out Be Real, Send Dog. Def Rocker. Did the original 50 Cent rob some rappers? So I heard. That dude was robbing everything moving. I actually encountered him in my youth. Maybe I'll tell that story another day. Limmy D was trash. I think you mean Lumi D. Once again, I liked Uh-Oh. I thought Uh-Oh was dope on that Diwali rhythm. That record was a monster record in like 20 countries. Sold 1 million copies. I like that. Someone else think it's dope. Juan Gomez says Off the Wall or Thriller. I was having an argument with my friend about this one day, and we went song for song. I think Thriller might edge Off the Wall, even though I like Off the Wall better. But when I went song for song, I think Thriller was the better album. Aunt Knox said the original 50 Cent was sticking niggas up back in the day. He was more than he was doing more than that. He was definitely doing more than sticking out. That dude was a one-man crime spree. Rasta Gideon just come with all kind of controversial comments. Snoop only has one good album, his first. You're talking about as a whole body of work? But I'll take that. But see, that first album was unbelievable. I'll take that. Somebody told me my career was going to be like Snoop Dogg. I would sign up for that any day. Lethal Flow. Kenny, did you like King Just? Yes, I did. Shout out to King Just. Me and him went to the same high school. Let's see. Trying to see. Let me go down a bit. Trying to see what you guys are talking about. See if I see something. I see Rasta Gideon. He just going in on people. I'm not even gonna. Rasta Gideon, you just. Def Rocker says, I don't understand how people put Kendrick Lamar up there. His music is not that great and his voice is annoying. There's an opinion. And he's having one of the great years ever right now in rap. Off of one song. Which is okay with me. I never listened to Kendrick Lamar like that. I listened to a few of his singles, when he has a big record, I play it in the club, but I don't like sit and listen like that. Wax Prophetic said, my girl next to me on the couch and took offense, Posse on Broadway being called whack. Thank you so much. Shout out to your girl, Wax Prophetic. I'm with you on that. Thank you so much. That is not a whack record, man, to me. And Knox says, Onyx was fire. You bugging. See, that's why I love this trash list because now you see you guys see what I'm talking about. You guys see what I'm talking about now. Vanilla Ice, that Vanilla Ice, Ninja Turtles rap. That's woo. That one right there is a tough one. Benny Doss says, Kenny, Mark Jackson or Starbury. I'm going Starbury because he went to my high school. Nah, he was Marbury was a better high school player than Mark Jackson. Marbury didn't stay in college long enough to be. He left after his freshman year. I think he was a better. Was he a better? He had a better run. He was averaging like 20 and 8 for like 5 years. Marbury. Yeah, I'm going Marbury on that one. Shout out to Mark Jackson though. He's a great player. Lethal Flow says, Kenny, who is the funniest rapper you've met? Not even close. My man Biz Marquis, rest in peace. It's not even close. Biz might be the funniest person I've ever met in my life. Like I can think of one person that I met that made me laugh the most in my life. I have 2 people in my life that made me laugh. One is a guy named Eddie Brown that I went to college with. None of you guys know who I'm talking about. Eddie Brown from Atlantic City used to play ball. Him and Biz Marquis are the 2 funniest people I've ever met in my entire life. Easily. Who does he like if Kendrick Lamar was whack? I don't want to butcher your name. B-Ball Jones. Who does he like if Kendrick Lamar is whack? Good question. These are great questions. Don Guapissimo. I hope I didn't mess you up. KP, you almost folded on the MC Paul Bartman's last week. Yes, I almost folded, but I didn't. But that Vanilla Ice Ninja Turtles almost broke me too. But I'm standing strong. I'm standing strong, y'all. I'm not going down that easy. Henry Cedillo, Kenny, what movie, Crush Groove or Beat Street? Crush Groove all day for me. All day Crush Groove. MK Ultra, when is KRS coming on your show? Good question. Whenever we schedule it. He's in Cali right now. I just spoke to him last week. Who knows? I'm going to try to make it happen, though, but that's going to be an epic when he comes on here. Because KRS is going to be live. Like I said, I want me and Chris is going to be live. We're not going to be on split screen. KRS said that Biz would win rap battles without spitting one bar. Yeah, like Biz would pull his pants down. Like there's nothing he wouldn't do. You don't want to battle Biz because he's going to take it somewhere that you really don't want. Iggy Azalea is trash. She's not trash. She won the Grammy for Best New Artist of the Year. What you talking about? She had a couple of songs that were big. She's a pop star. I don't even look at her as a rapper. See some love for my man Biz on here. Joe says Silk the Shocker couldn't rap on beat to save his life. He did seem like he was off beat. He did seem, maybe that was his style. Maybe his style was to be off beat. Who knows? But yeah, he definitely seemed like he was off beat to me. And yet people loved him. Mystical was very underrated. I think he was underrated, and man, did he get in a lot of trouble, man. I just saw something about him the other day. Dude is about to go to jail for the rest of his life, man. Dude was wild, man. I think we did a show at Mystical. I think we did a Jive showcase with artists on Jive, and I think Mystical was on the bill. That dude is about to go to jail forever, man. And it's really under the radar. Patty that says people like what they like, Kenny. I'm straight old school. Some of this new music is all right. That's my opinion. Some of it is all right. Once in a while, I'll hear something that I could rock to. I just don't think any of these songs today will last 40 years and people will be rocking it. We have to wait and see. I personally don't. These records coming out now don't last 40 days. This TikTok era we're in, songs come and go so fast. If an artist doesn't drop a song in like 6 months, his career is over. He's washed. You just got to keep dropping just random records. I can't imagine. They Not Like Us is going to be around for a long time. But yeah, most of these songs, I just don't see them lasting. But we'd have to see. We have to see when the kids that's 17, 18, 19 now, when they're 40 and 50 and they're reminiscing, are they going to reminisce to Cardi B or Ice Spice? Like, remember when we used to be twerking and our mother caught us in the room and we got in trouble? Like that. You never know. I think my educated guess would be that most of this, 99% of the music out right now is not going to be around to last the test of time and be played on like the old school channel or be in commercials and things like a lot of rap songs are now. I heard Annie Up in 3 commercials this week. Get that money, MOP. That's why I need to get on it. Yo, you billion fame. What's up? All right, y'all. We're approaching an hour and a half. Raps Prophetic said 21 Savage whack. My unpopular take. I don't think that's unpopular. I try to he's not my cup of tea. I don't like disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I tried to listen to 21 Savage, but I think maybe it's not for me. Charles 13X says, how do you get charged for the same thing 3 times in a row? Talking about Mystical. Yeah, he's a serial offender. And on the third, he should never be, I'm not wishing jail on anybody, but you get arrested and convicted 3 times for a serious crime like that, 3 times, you are a menace to society. You should not be outside. Dudes are dangerous. Def Rocker, what happened to Jay Electronica? Great questions, man. Dude had so much promise. Dope MC. but he just never really, um, he never really reached what might have been his potential. All right, y'all. I'm gonna jump off in like another 2 minutes. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to the people that's going to check this out on the rewind. I really appreciate you all, and I love doing this. We got a streak going. I do believe we got a year straight of not missing a Tuesday. So I'm trying to keep the streak alive, so I hope y'all keep the streak alive with me. Lethal Flow says, Kenny, would you like to meet Vanessa Del Rio? Absolutely. And I would like to bring her on the show, too. I would love to talk to her. Could you imagine the stories that she has? Like, not even on some real shit. Like, not what you're thinking, but like her stories coming up in the 70s and 80s and what she's seen. Would love to talk to her. All right, y'all. I'm scrolling down to the very last. Lakim Shabazz was underrated. He was a dope lyricist. I saw him a few years ago. Shout out to my man Lakim Shabazz. Shout out to the whole Flavor Unit. But yeah, but like I said, is he underrated or is he rated where he should be in the mix? A dope MC. To me, when you say underrated, means you should be higher than where you are. And looking at people's careers, you have to come with big records to move up the chart, literally. All right, y'all. I'm getting off. This is it. I'll catch you guys next week, God willing. Hopefully we'll have a guest next week. If not, we rocking. Yes, I'll catch you guys next week. Much peace and love to all of you.